Hey guys, it's Drew. So, this is a video that I have wanted to make for a little bit now. I just didn't really know how to make it. But, you know what, we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do this video. Alright. This game, right here, Doom Eternal. This is my favorite game of all time. This is the game that got me into video games and started to make me see video games as works of art, or has the potential to be works of art, right? This game is awesome. I have the PS4 version. So good. But in this video, I'm also going to be talking a little bit about my own substance use disorder and mental health, mental illnesses, and I think it's fair for me to give a little content warning in that sense, but I just want to talk about my experience and, well, you saw the title of this video, how this game helped me. But before I get too sentimental, this game came out in 2020. That was the year I graduated, just for counting my story, right? And I remember hearing the music from this game from my friend's dorm room, just like the other room right down the hall. But I heard this music and I'm like, wait, that's heavy metal. I love heavy metal. And I don't think I have to tell you guys about the soundtrack for this game, but the man behind it, Mick Gordon, did an incredible job, and I think it's awesome. But that's what piqued my interest at first, was the music. And so I walked into his room, like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I'm playing this new game, Doom Eternal. And I just watch him play for a little bit. And then he dies. But, because, I mean, I don't know, it's a very tough game. If you know, you know. It can get pretty intense. But he dies. And then he reloads, and I'm like, wait, this game is good. Look at this, like, the art direction. I'm not like as intelligent. I wasn't as intelligent as I am right now in terms of like talking about art. But like, look at this art direction. Look at this like stylization of like the hyper violence almost. It's almost cartoony how violent it is. It is cartoony how violent it is. But again, another like peak of interest. And you know, he dies again because it's a hard game, like I said. And I tell him that like this game looks awesome. And then he's like, he hands me the controller. He's like, here, you wanna try? I'm like, dude, yeah. And mind you, I have not really like played games up until that point in my life. I had like a Wii growing up. I never had like an Xbox. I got a PlayStation like my junior year of high school, maybe sophomore year of high school. And I played like, you know, the Spider-Man for PS4. I played Uncharted 4. You know, very like not gameplay first type of games. Maybe like you'd say something like this is. So again, I died probably even faster than he did, but I was already hooked. I'm like, this is awesome. And then he like turned on the like cheat for, what was it, like unlimited lives, and like lowered the difficulty, and then gave me the controller again. And then that was just like super fun, just like running around the arena with like a auto shotgun, just pumping lead into like every single enemy until they die, and like unlimited ammo as well. But that was such a good time. And then we just kind of like messed around with all the cheats and had some fun together, like trading the controller. It was a good time. But later that season, after I like went home for the semester, I saved some money and I got a copy of this game. That's in fact what you're seeing right here. This is the one I got. And I was so excited to play at home. I obviously, you know, didn't have any of the cheats because the cheats don't unlock until after you beat the game, really. And so I went home and I played it. And it was tough. I set it to the easiest difficulty, and it was still tough. This is the kind of game that, for an unseasoned gamer like myself at the time, it'll whoop your ass, even on the easiest difficulty. But it wasn't just like that I didn't have the experience like aiming on a controller or whatever, but it was also my mindset towards how to play. I did receive a tip, and that was never stop moving, so I was, you know, I was doing all that, but as you know with this game, or if you've played it before, each of the weapons has a pretty specific use. You can't just go around the game with just one weapon and expect to have successful results. Like I said, the auto shotgun has a use. The other mod is like the sticky bomb shotgun. It's like a sticky grenade launcher. There's like a what's called precision bolt, which is kind of like a high velocity sniper rifle that zooms in. There is well, now I'm blanking, but basically all of the weapons have like a specific use. Like the plasma gun, you use that to destroy shields on shield enemies. But I did not know that. I think I was playing very conservatively, so I would be like, I can't I can't shoot this guy with 3 sticky bombs. I can't waste any ammo. Because again, in this game, you don't get any ammo. You start out with like 12 shells or something, maybe 16, I don't know. 16 shells for your base shotgun. And the element of like resource management is very high. That's again maybe a reason why you're not able to just run around the game with just one weapon. You have to be swapping weapons and using them as like tools almost, right? I did not get that at all. And I was able to get through like the first maybe 5 or 6 levels playing that way, very conservatively, very like, I don't have any ammo, so I'm just not going to use any ammo, that kind of thing. But once you reach maybe like level 7, 8, maybe even 9, I don't know how many, I don't remember off the top of my head how many levels there are, but like some of the later levels, when you get introduced to more advanced enemies and the difficulty like ramps up because of those harder enemies, like say the Marauder. Now I like the Marauder, but I hated that guy when I first was playing this game. But basically with the Marauder, it's like you have to attack within a window, otherwise he is completely invulnerable. And that threw me off, and I hated that. And then once I reached the first arena where they introduced the Archvile, the guy who stands like this and like summons the like buffed enemies into the arena, I could not get past the arena. I was stuck on that part for at least a couple days. Mind you, I was playing it with this very conservative type of gameplay style, but I just could not beat it. It was like the Archvile was too aggressive almost. So eventually I'm like, screw this, I'm going to put this down. And I went back to college. So my story now, as it goes to, I mentioned like sobriety and substance use disorder and mental health issues. So I went to college for about 1.5 years. So 2020, and then I dropped out in 2021. But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself in this story. I did drop out of high school. Sorry, not high school. I dropped out of college to pursue a career in music. And that was a very tough decision, and I mean, it was a very good decision. I do not regret it to this day. That's what I'm still doing right now. I am a musician. I'm sitting in my studio right now. Like, I'm doing this. I'm doing this for real. But at the time, that first year especially, was a really, really, really rough part of my life. I felt like, I mean, maybe I still do at times, but I felt like an alien for like not being in college and just taking a completely different career path than pretty much all of my peers. I don't know if any one of my friends from high school I don't think any of them didn't go to college. They all went to college, and here I was. So that first year, like I said, was just so rough. I didn't really know what I needed to do. I mean, I needed to get better at my craft. I need to learn new skills, production skills, and get better at singing and playing guitar and all that stuff. I needed to do all that, but kind of along the way, I feel like I picked up some not great habits. And, well, I suffer from, sounds so dramatic, I have clinical depression since early high school pretty much, and I've gotten a lot better at like living with it now and living life, right? And I feel like I'm happy right now in this moment. But at the time, well, like I said, 2021, I was not having a good time. I was not happy. I was still trying to find ways to, I guess what they call like coping mechanisms, right? And coping mechanisms can range from healthy to unhealthy, of course, but one that really worked for me at the time was doing a lot of drinking, smoking a lot of weed, and just kind of like transforming my state of mind into an altered state, right? And I'm not going to judge anyone for doing those things if they do, but I think the reason why people do those things are important, and the reason why I was doing those things were not the right reasons. I was almost running away from my problems, running away from my depression, and that is not going to work. That's not sustainable. And it wasn't sustainable. I feel like I quickly developed a very bad habit very fast. It was to the point where like every single day I would get drunk and or high. And I don't mean just like have a drink, but like drink to like feel drunk and smoke to get high, right? Every single day. And I just did not need that in my life, especially because, again, the reason why is I was running away from my problems. I was running away from my depression and instead of trying to like improve myself and the way I feel about myself and talk about things, and I was just smoking and drinking every single day, every hour that I wasn't doing any of that, I would just be looking forward to when I could. And it messed up a lot of things in my life. To this day still, I'm sober now, but like my relationship with my family has not been the same since, and I don't talk to pretty much any of my friends. A handful of them, which I'm very grateful they stuck around and are understanding of my current situation, being sober now, but I pretty much had to cut ties with all my friends now, and I keep saying it was a really, really tough time in my life, and I was, through all that, I don't even know how this happened or why my parents would let this happen, but I got into a music business program rather, across the country in California, and again, I don't know why my parents even like gave me the thumbs up on this, but I was set to go out to California in September of 2022. 2022, yeah, so 2021 to 2022, that was the horrible rough year, but, or am I getting my years wrong? Let me think about this for a second. No, that's right, 2022. 2022. So September of 2022, that's when I was set to go out to California, and I was like getting messed up every day, and that just would not work, especially because one, California is freaking expensive, and two, I'm across the country. I don't have, I have to essentially start my social circle from scratch, and that just means I don't have a social circle to begin with at the time of just me immediately moving there. So I tried to quit. I wanted to quit. I knew deep down I wanted to quit. I couldn't stop. That's just the nature of addiction. That's why I think people call it a disease, is that you might know it's wrong and it's wrong for you, but you can't stop, and that's the disease part. It just keeps going. I think I tried to quit like smoking nicotine like 8 or 9 times before I eventually quit, and for alcohol, that was probably, I don't even know, maybe like 5 times or so. It took multiple attempts, is what I'm saying, and I was doing a lot of, uh, I'm laughing about it now. It's not funny, but I guess what do they call it now? Like galaxy gas, like the whippets. I was doing a lot of those, like too many of those, and that was just not good for me. But again, I'm kind of laughing about it now, but it's not funny. It's horrible. Never ever do that stuff. But it took me a while to get my shit back together, and right before I eventually got sober, I'm saying this kind of backwards, but I picked up this game again. Maybe I just need something to do, or just maybe I just remembered I didn't complete it, but I wanted to beat this game, and I looked up some stuff online and, some strategy guides or whatever, and I learned you got to be aggressive in this game. I mentioned earlier that the Archvile was too aggressive, but no, it was me that wasn't aggressive enough. I need to use my ammo. So what if I run out of ammo on a gun? I'll just get more when the chainsaw reloads, right? I can't be afraid of using my tools. I can't be afraid of, I guess, taking the bull by its horns, so to speak, right? I can't be afraid of that. I do need to take the bull by the horns. And I think this was just a very big catalyst on what gave me the willpower to just finally be like, screw this, I want to be sober. I don't want to live like this anymore. Right, I mean, just the catalyst. I did all the work, right? I mean, I'm not gonna... It's not all this, and there was other things going on in my life too that maybe just kind of helped. I was working out more. I think maybe it was the soundtrack of this freaking game, but like I was wanting to gain some weight. I mean, I think I have a pretty good like muscular composure right now, but like I was skinny. I did not look like this before, and I feel good about showing this off because I worked for this. I didn't always look like this. But anyways, I started going to the gym and just started making improvements, like little by little. I started a gratitude journal, for example, and I mean, what the hell do I have to be grateful for? I don't know, but like at the time, I don't know. Now I'm very grateful for a lot of things in my life, but just like starting these things, and I think this was just a catalyst for taking the bull by the horns and just, hey, this is my health is my priority. My sobriety is my priority. Yeah. I lost my train of thought. I love this game so much. But anyways, I ended up moving out to California, like I said, 5 days after I got sober, after I got clean. And it was tough. That's kind of wild, right? Like, 5 days of clean. And then, boom, I'm across the country. I'm living here now. I did great in California. I ended up moving back because, again, rent is just so freaking high. And I do already have, like, a network of music connections around here. So I just decided, hey, this is best for me. And, again, I have a studio. I can't do this in an apartment. So I ended up moving back, but it was a good experience. I stayed sober out there. I even started and joined some substance use support groups. The one I started was specifically for musicians. I called it Sober Musicians Club because I do think a lot of musicians, maybe they don't have a problem, but I mean, a number of them do. And I just think that's the side effect almost of a creative mind is we are more susceptible to substance use. But this game, and then I moved back, and I didn't bring my PlayStation or anything with me to California, but when I came back, I remember one of the first things I did was boot this game back up, and then I beat it again, but on normal difficulty instead of easy. And I'm just like looking at this cover. I love it. But this game, it just taught me, take the bull by the horns. If you want something, you gotta get it. You gotta go for it. I mean, I didn't attend any inpatient or outpatient thing for my sobriety. It was just kind of willpower. And it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And probably will be the hardest thing I will have to do for a good long period of my life. But this game means a lot to me. I'm sure it means a lot to a lot of you out there, but I don't think I would be the person I am without this game. So thank you, Doom Eternal, for that. I think I've said everything I've wanted to say. Maybe I missed something, but I am 3.5 years sober now, and I couldn't be more grateful. Sure, I think that's everything I got. I'm gonna watch this video back and be like, I missed that, but this is just kind of off the top of my head, talking about this game that is very special to me. So I hope that all made sense, and I guess if anything, I hope you appreciated the story if you're watching this far. Thanks for listening. This is a crazy thing for me to talk about on the internet, but right, thanks for sticking around. And this is not like a gaming channel at all, but I usually talk about music and art, right? I'm a musician, but I just figured, video games are art, or can be art, and I'll just leave it there. So, alright, peace.